Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a Ben Zone exclusive here in the Ben Zone on Facebook. Also on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornet 9015, as well as on X at BennyBoy702. What is going on, everybody? What's going on, Bucs fans? Or even if you're not a Bucs fan, what's going on? My name is Ben Cornet, and as you can see right there on my handle right there, I'm at BennyBoy702 on X. I wanted to come on here tonight because just give you like a recap of the Bucs game against the Colts today. As you know, the Bucs lost to the Colts 27-20, which brings the Bucs to 4-7 on the season. And believe it or not, we're still only one game back of first place in the NFC South. Yes, we're only one game back because Atlanta is also 5-6. New Orleans is 5-6. And we're 4-7. And somebody at the end of the end of the season has to win that division. I know it's embarrassing. It's it's disgusting. But and it's laughable as well, Sometimes you just got to laugh at it because what good is it going to do to piss and moan and be angry, yell at the clouds. I don't know, man. When I watched this game today, I realized we didn't have Levante David. That was a huge loss, and it showed. It shows you why he's been arguably one of the best linebackers in the last 10 seasons. Just not having him out there was tough to watch. Devin White, I mean, they can't pay this guy. The Bucs should not pay this guy. I've been on record saying on other shows that he's just too inconsistent. And let me just, if you didn't see the game, but I'm sure a lot of people did, I'll just show you pretty much sums up what Devin White's done all year. So I'm going to post this real quick and just show you that he
with Gardner Minshew, and you've got to run from inside out. He's running to cut him off.
As Chris Berman would say, whoop!
What a play by.
Why don't we play that one more time?
Well, listen, I know he came in with a foot, but Devin White's got to make this play. You're one-on-one with Gardner Minshew, and you've got to run from inside out. He's running to cut him off.
You want to give this guy $100 million?
Overruns him. What a play by.
You want to give that guy $100 million? I don't. Now I know you're saying, "Oh, that's just one play," but it just goes to show you how this guy wanted to be traded in the offseason because he didn't get his wish and get his $100 or $100 million deal by the Bucs. But the problems go deeper than just Devin White. I mean, the secondary's not very good. Although Carlton Davis did have an interception today, by the way, probably played one of his better games of his career. But they trotted Ryan Neal out there. I don't know why he's still on the team, but then you go on offense. Well, actually, I'll stay on the defense. Another issue I have this year has been what happened to Shaq Barrett? I mean, where's he been? Like, sometimes I forget he's even playing. Sometimes I think he's on injured reserve. because I never see him make a play or do anything that helps the team out. I mean, just a few years ago, this guy was one of the best linebackers in the league. And now it's like he's almost an afterthought. You know, it's really a head scratcher, and I don't want to. I hate bringing this up because, you know, unfortunately, he had a death in the family, his daughter, in the off season. You know, I'm not saying this is the case, but do you wonder if his head's in the game? Because there is things more important than the game of football. You know, these players have lives. You know, and you wonder if maybe that could possibly be affecting him. I don't know. You know, it's just a thought. You know, I'm not saying it is. I'm just thinking out loud, like, hey, this could be. You just have to consider all things. You know. So I don't know where Shaq Barrett's been. You know, also, you know, JTS finally had a sack. He did. I'm not lying. I wish I had video footage of it because he did record a sack. But again, that's just he's too inconsistent as well. I mean, you know, Joey Tyron Shanka, to me, he's just been a bust. You know, he hasn't developed into a better pass rusher. I mean, he's at best a rotational player, but you know, this whole defense I felt like this was the backbone of our team. I felt this team this year, and for the first few games, we did. Our defense came through, getting turnovers, getting sacks. But lately, we haven't seen that. I mean, today we did get a couple turnovers, but before that, the last 4 or 5 games, it's disappeared. Even Antoine Winfield's disappeared. I don't know where he's been. You know? So this defense, I said it a few weeks ago. I said that for most of these players, they reflect, you know, on their head. They're a reflection of their head coach, which is Todd Bowles. And yes, he's getting a lot of heat coming his way, and rightfully so. Let's be fair about it. He has not coached this team very well this year. You know, I've said before, I don't think he's a good head coach. I've been on record saying that. But he had a try with the Jets for 4 years. Didn't do very well. Now you could say, well, it's the Jets, and that would be fair. But at the same time, you know, 3 years in a row he was 5-11. After his first year, they were 10-6. So he actually regressed, and he never improved that team. Again, you know, whether that's fair or not, because he was with a bad organization, you know, good coaches can find ways to at least show some progression with their teams. And unfortunately, Todd Bowles hasn't done that. We haven't seen progression since he's been the coach of the Buccaneers. You know, I haven't seen any development out of JTS. Devin White's regressed. Shaq Barrett, he's actually regressed. So where's the progression of this team? You know, it's just not there. He's not, like, for example, today, like Mike Evans had what looked like a catch in the third quarter, close to midfield. And I thought it was a catch. Now the referee called it incomplete. But Mike Evans was like saying, you need to throw the flag, challenge this. And they should have, because it looked like he had a catch. But what did Todd Bowles do? He didn't do anything. He just kept the flag in his pocket. That's all he did. He didn't attempt to say, okay, let's take a look at it. Because that could have helped our team. We could have had a first down there. But instead, it was like second down, I believe, and then we went to third down. And we couldn't convert on third down. So we had to punt the ball away. Like, these are just little things that just really drive you nuts as a fan. It's like, seriously? Todd, I mean, you're talking about Mike Evans here. You know, he's one of the best wide receivers in football. He's, you know, you're probably your best offensive player on the team. Not probably, he is. Why don't you trust him? Have your players back. It would have been worth the challenge. Even if you didn't get the call, even if the refs didn't reverse the call, you know, at least try and challenge it. You know, show that, you know, you want to try and win this game. But instead, you just said, no, you didn't do anything. You just stood there and you just said, okay, no, we're just going to go what the ref said. We'll just go by what the ref said. We're not going to believe my player, you know. If Mike Evans said he caught the football and says, coach, challenge this, challenge it. You had 3 timeouts. And by the way, and we'll talk about this in a minute, just if you don't get it, yeah, you'll lose a timeout, but so what? At least try. You never know. You could get the call reversed. But he didn't do that. And instead, they punted. They went on third down, didn't get it, punt the football. That's just bad coaching. It really is. And this is why fans are frustrated with him. You know, I'm frustrated as well. And then, as I mentioned, the 2 timeouts he had left on when toward the end of the game where he could have tried and like stop the clock, and they probably wouldn't have mattered anyway as far as the time and everything because the Colts got that first down to ice the game. But you could have at least, you know, you never know what could happen. A turnover could happen, a botched snap, anything like that. You just don't know. You got to play till the clock hits 0. And instead you're like, no. You know, to me, that's just bad coaching. It's also lazy. It also tells me that you don't believe your team can win games. Seriously, it tells me you don't have faith in your team to win games or make stops. You're just like, oh, well. You know? Scott, thanks for tuning in. He's first. Appreciate it. By the way, good win for the Rams over the Cardinals. They beat the snot out of the Cardinals today. But yeah, the coaching just awful. And you know, I would not be surprised if, you know, especially if the Bucs don't win this rotten division. If they don't make the playoffs. Let's say they go 6-11 or 7-10. Yeah, I could see Bulls being let go. And here's the funny part about this is that the last time the Bucs have had a head coach that's lasted longer than 3 years was John Gruden. John Gruden. And that was back in the early to mid 2000s. So the Glazers, they don't mess around. You know, they'll fire somebody if things don't work out or if, you know, they get pressure from the fan base. And I get it. You know, I even saw a post saying if they don't beat Carolina this weekend, they should fire Todd Bowles. after the game. But you really think that's going to improve things? Because first off, the Bucs only have 6 games left. If you were going to make a change, you could have done it a couple games earlier. But for one, the Glazers don't fire head coaches during the season. That's never been their MO. They wait till after the year. But if they were going to do it, couldn't you have done it a couple games ago when you still had half the season remaining? But if you fire them after the Panthers game, if they lose to Carolina, you only got 5 games left. What good's that going to do? I don't think it'll do any good. It's not going to, is it going to make Devin White play better? I doubt it. To make a change just for change's sake, that's not always a good thing. You have to ride this out. I'm sorry, you do, especially when you can still win this division. Yes, you could still win this division. You're only a game back. It's doable. And you play Carolina next week at home against a 1-win team. Could I see the Bucs lose this game? No, I could. I could absolutely see them lose because they're, the way they're playing right now, the mistakes they're making, the penalties, Baker, on and off, and that's another thing. I'll get to it in a second, but I got a couple more comments. But did you pick the Rams this week? Yep, I did. Scott. I picked the Rams to win. I was right on that one. Bucs are still in the hunt. Yep. As bad as it is, yes, we are in the hunt. We are in the hunt still. But, with Baker, he is who he is. He's a better Jameis. He'll make some great plays. But he'll also throw a pick or two. He'll try to force plays. I heard after the game his post-game where he's like, until we start getting pissed off and angry, this thing ain't going to be fixed. Well, you can be pissed off and angry all you want, but that's not going to fix things. What's going to fix things is consistency, is running the ball. They ran the ball pretty good today with Rachaad White. Also, you got to stop the run. Once again, we let Jonathan Taylor and and whoever I forget the other running back's name is, but that two-headed monster at running back, they dominated us today. Couldn't stop the run, especially on third down. That hurt as well. So Zach Moss, that's who it is. So you let Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor run you right out of the field. And again, that's sure, it's fundamentals. You got to make stops. You can't give them third and shorts, or third and less than 5, or second and less than 5. And also, Gardner Minshew. This guy's a backup quarterback, and you're letting him get making throws on third down. There were plays where the Bucs could have had a sack or two on Gardner, but they couldn't make the tackle. I just showed you a little while ago, Devin White, over pursued Gardner. He should have made that play. Could have tried and stopped him there. And that's frustrating, letting I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but a backup quarterback, at best, outplay Baker Mayfield today. Baker's better than Gardner Minshew. So yeah, sure, it'd be fine to be pissed and angry, but and it takes more than that to, try and fix this stuff. You got to make plays. I don't think you have to be pissed and angry to make plays, to follow your assignments, and also it's also coaching. Why isn't Todd Bowles pissed and angry? Yeah, why does it have to be Baker that has to do that? Why don't we see any anger or accountability by Todd Bowles? But we get the same thing every week. We got to play better, or we get our team had a good week of practice. We had a good week of practice, or our players got to make the plays. Okay. And what about you, Mr. Bowles? Would you like to take accountability someday? Huh? Maybe one time be nice if you can take a little accountability for how your team's playing. No, it's always, our players need to make the plays, or we had a good week at practice. I don't know what happened. Like, come on, Again, it's a reflection. Certain players on that team have a reflection of their head coach. Okay. Like you saw, the Colts coach, first year head coach, Shane Scheiden. You see some emotion there. His players are playing hard for him. They're not that great of a team, but they're 6-5. What does Todd Bowles do? He's a nice guy. He's just not a head coach. He's a good coordinator, but he's just not a good head coach. And again, he's not going to be fired this week or next week. If anything, if the earliest he'll be fired is at the end of the year, if the Bucs don't make the playoffs. And even if they do, if they win the division at like 8-9 or 7-10, he might still get fired. But it's just not going to happen now. Sorry, it's just not. Let's see. And yes, thank you, Scott. Tell everybody to comment, like, and share on this show. I've already shared it to a couple places. You need to get Chucky back. No, that's not going to happen. That will not happen, but they got to get somebody that can take this team to the next level and make this team better. And right now, Todd Bowles isn't doing that. Let's see. Todd's just there to collect the check. Yeah. Well, that's a poor attitude. If you're just there to collect a check. I mean, some coaches do that. Some players do that. I think some players on this Bucs team are doing just that. They're just collecting their paycheck. Carlton Davis, Shaq Barrett, Devin White. And another problem today was, the drops. No, Mike Evans did not drop a pass today. Godwin did. Trey Palmer dropped a key pass that could have been a touchdown on a slant route right in his hands. Probably could have been a touchdown. Could have ran it in. He had a lot of space in the middle of the field. Right to him. Trey Palmer drops it. That's the thing with the Bucs, man. The drop passes. You know? Like, come on. You're an NFL receiver. Catch the goddamn football. How hard is it to do that? Obviously, you made the team. You know, if you didn't learn how to catch football, you wouldn't have made the football team. So it's frustrating. These mistakes are, a lot of them are self-inflicted. The penalties, Aaron Stiney had 2 penalties today. So it's, Carlton Davis had a penalty, which, you could say was questionable, but still penalties. They add up to keep, drives alive. So, and Baker Mayfield, he probably could have had 3 interceptions today. But Payne Durham took an interception away with a great catch near the end zone. So, a lot of this is self-inflicted by the Bucs. It just is. This team could have beaten the Colts today. They could have. The Colts, I don't think they're that great a team. But they play hard. They don't make mistakes. They play hard for their coach. They seem like the coach, he'll take accountability. Shane Steichen, Todd Bowles doesn't. And you could tell. We've been 1-6. 1-6 since our 3-1 start. 1-6. And our one win was against a Tennessee team that's just not very good. And they beat Carolina today. That was at Tennessee. They beat a 1-9 team. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating, but at the same time, you look at the division, it's like we're still in it. We are still in this division, believe it or not. As funny as it is, as laughable as it is, we're still in this division. It's amazing, isn't it? But Johnny Dean would make a good head coach. He yells a lot. Why not? Be nice. Johnny would get everybody's shit together. The Bucs are saving on gunpowder for the cannons. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but whatever the Bucs are doing, they better get it together because today was a winnable game. They could have had a 3-way tie for first place. And they just like Devin White, they just let that slip away. So, I don't know. We got Carolina, Atlanta coming up. Those are 2 division games. I mean, you would think those are winnable games, right? Carolina especially. It's at home in Tampa. It's a late afternoon game. Do an imitation of Johnny Dean in the locker room after the game. I'm not in the mood to do imitations tonight. We're not going to pick on the old man. So I appreciate that, Scott, but we're just not going to pick on the old man. Let's see. Just going over the box score right now. Bucs had 2 turnovers today. Colts just 1. Time of possession, Bucs 31 minutes or 28 minutes. The Colts 31 minutes. Despite the Bucs having 125 yards rushing, the Colts had 155 yards rushing. That's what I said earlier about the team not being able to stop the run. Taylor and Moss killing us on the ground. Total yards, the Bucs had 298. Colts had 394. Again, that's long sustained drives, even though the time of possession was only a couple of minutes apart. Passing yards, Baker had 100, Bucs had 173 yards. Colts had 239 yards. Penalties, Bucs only had 4 penalties. Colts had 5. So, and also Mayfield was out for a couple plays with his ankle. Kyle Trask came in, filled in for him for a couple plays. Almost had a touchdown to Godwin. And that's another thing, too. I just want to talk about it real quick. Kyle Trask. Yes, Bucs fan. I've heard some people today say, let's just see what he can do these last few games. Disagree. Just play Mayfield for the rest of the season. Okay, what good is... Listen, if you didn't believe in Trask before, why are you going to bring him out now? If you're the Bucs, you had your opportunity to see what Kyle Trask could do in 2022, but instead, you went with Tom Brady, after he unretired, and that forced Bruce Arians out of town, or off the field into the office. Bucs had their chance then to see what Trask could do. But, now you want to see what he can do. I don't think it's going to improve much. And you're pretty much putting him in a no-win situation because the team isn't that good. The offensive line isn't that good. And he's not going to have any kind of chemistry with guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, Rashad White. So he doesn't even practice with them, pretty much. The only way you're going to see Trask is if he's injured, if Baker goes down with an injury. Now, Baker's going to have an MRI this week. But regardless, Trask isn't going to make your team any better right now. And that's not all on Kyle Trask. That's just the reality. He hasn't had time to practice with the first team. Just because you've learned behind Tom Brady doesn't mean, you're going to be good as well. So you got to stick with Baker. For better or worse, stick with Baker Mayfield. Go from there. That's all you can do. So, let's see. Where are all the Ben Cornett fans? You people should be ashamed of yourselves. Well, in fairness, Mr. Scott Taylor, I just went on without any advertising or anything like that. So it's kind of a pop-up post-game recap. So I'm not going to blame everybody, but whoever is watching, thank you. Scott, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thanks for the comments. So I'm just going to go over real quick the Bucs schedule. They have the Panthers at home. And then they got to go on the road to the Falcons and then the Packers. And then after that, they got home games against the Jaguars on Christmas Eve, the Saints at home, and then on the road again, last game of the season against Carolina. So for these next 6 games are going to be against division opponents. It's right there. If the Bucs want to win this division, that's what you got to do. You got to beat these teams in your division. And it'd be nice if they can beat the Packers as well in Green Bay. So we'll see what happens. That's all we can do. I really don't have much more to say on this, but the fact that we could not get a win in Indianapolis today, it was a winnable game, by the way. It's disappointing. And in reality, we do deserve to be 4-7 right now, the way we're playing. So, well, with that being said, I am going to it's easy for me to say. I'm going to go ahead and take off. But I do want to thank whoever was watching tonight. I know Scott, thank you for being in the comments. Appreciate it. Again, just gave you my thoughts, my recap on the Bucs game. Now we got 6 games to go. 4 division games to win this very tough division. No, it's crap division, but it's right there in front of us. Let's go out and win this division. For better or worse, let's try and win this division. Even though it's looking bleak right now and fans just want to tank. That's another thing. I don't believe in tanking either. That just means you're giving up. You think, oh, yeah, we're going to get better draft positioning. But you don't know. Right now, the Bucs are slated to pick 7th at the season ended, but you don't know how that 7th pick is going to turn out. You just don't know. Maybe the Rams and Bucs will meet in the playoffs. I don't know about that, but the Rams are on a roll right now. They're playing well. They got a coach who their players believe in. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm going to take off. I want to thank anybody who was watching this. Appreciate you watching. Like I said, like, subscribe, and share. My social media handles are to my right. I'm on Twitter or X, BennyBoy702. You're watching this one on YouTube as well. It's Ben Cornett 9015, the Ben Zone, and Ben702 forever on Instagram if you are an Instagrammer. So, with that being said, I am taking off. But everybody, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. Probably gained about 30 pounds. That's okay. Love turkey, love green bean casserole, love the mac and cheese. Shout out to my sister Holly, who made Thanksgiving dinner. The spread was awesome. And had some of that pie too. Pumpkin, pecan. It was delicious. So, with that being said, I am out of here. Everybody, have a great weekend or a great week. And I will be back next time right here on the Ben Zone. And everybody, take care And win or lose, go Bucs. See you guys later.